Well, Shannon, I know you've been the assistant director at the Advanced Manufacturing Sciences Institute at Metro State Denver. Since 2020, since late 2020, how has the manufacturing world and what we consider advanced manufacturing sciences changed in just what is probably a few short years, but also long years? How's that changed, and what's the outlook there?
I think more and more we're seeing the automation combined with the data analytics, monitor and assess your machinery, what the output is, and things like that, and being able to find problems before they even happen by looking at these analytics. So that's one huge piece that's going on that obviously allows for better efficiency and less downtime. Another really big thing is the kind of digital twins. You're actually at the machine looking at instructions through your goggles and seeing that twin in your goggles, your AR, VR goggles, and being able to kind of look through those job instructions and do things on that machinery right there. So that's a really, really great training tool. As technology is coming out, people are finding really awesome ways to use it that makes manufacturing more efficient and clean and quick and smart.
So I want to take a step back because there's a lot there that you just mentioned.
Yes. Sorry.
No, it's totally fine. This is good. Just how did you get into this world? Let's intro a little bit of you and yourself to the listeners in the audience. You yourself, how did you get into manufacturing?
Quite a few years ago, I worked at a manufacturing company in Colorado Springs for almost 5 years. And then in between that job and being at MSU Denver, I did quite a lot of just business operations work in nonprofit organizations. Ended up at MSU Denver, and the role of the assistant director for AMSI, the Advanced Manufacturing Sciences Institute, came open, and I applied and ended up getting that position. So kind of my roles from that far long ago job in manufacturing and my operations kind of experience has come together in this role. So I'm doing a lot of the operations for the academic program at the school. And then my director, Mark Yost, who came from 36 years at Lockheed and actually helped create the program at MSU Denver, really works more on the technology side and working with industry partners to keep refining our curriculum based on what is being done in industry. And kind of it's a back and forth. So we can say, hey, we can offer this, this, and this. And they're like, great, let's do this. And we can do this. So it's really is a back and forth and a partnership.
Yeah. With the things that you mentioned earlier, the adoption of technology, the real-time look at how to create a more efficient manufacturing facility, the digital twinning and being able to train things, what are the expectations that students are coming into the program? What are you training them on? What are the things that they're interested in, and how are you matching that up with the work that you're doing with other Colorado manufacturers and the work at MSU Denver?
Okay, so what's interesting about, the kind of perception of manufacturing, where people still have this idea in their head that it's like you're in a steel mill or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. We needed that at one point. But people have the perception where it's dirty and dangerous. But students are actually learning that, no, it's really, really clean. It's really, really efficient. It's really forward thinking and progressive as far as using technology in manufacturing. So our students are actually coming from quite a few CET programs from different high schools, and they're actually learning all of this stuff in their high schools, which is really cool. And we've created different pathways that allows that learning that they're doing in their high schools to count towards the degree that we offer. So the students are understanding that what we're really looking at is processes. We're looking at how to use 3D renderings to create new products. We're looking at, all right, how do we, I have this idea for a product. I can 3D print it. And then we need to figure out what is the best, most efficient way to create that project, on a large scale. So that's really where our students are kind of coming from, is the process from beginning to end, not just engineering a design, not just running a machine or doing quality control, but the entire thing. And that's what really differentiates our program from a lot of the other programs that are out there. Our program at MSU Denver was probably one of the first. I think there's 4 or 5 advanced manufacturing bachelor's degrees in the country right now. Most of them are engineering focused. So we're really proud of that distinction. And it's taken some time, but industry partners are seeing what our students can offer as far as creating that lean process for their floors and their products.
From your students, what do you find when they go out into the workforce that process of being taught how to look at the end-to-end process and apply technology to it? What are some of the barriers or roadblocks that they're coming up against? Or what are you helping them possibly foresee, look down in the future and say, hey, you're going to come up against this when you actually go into a facility? Are you training for any of that? Are you prepping them for any of what they might come up against as they look at these processes?
Even though the kind of concept of Industry 4.0 was created in about 2015, and that's been 10 years, there's still, people don't know what it is, even in industry. Mm-hmm. And there's just so much to it that people just kind of can't really get the concept in their mind. So really maybe just helping industry understand those concepts might be a challenge. And I have one student who went to work at a worldwide company, and he has saved them millions of dollars.
Oh my gosh.
by, improving their processes.
Let's go back to some of those things that you mentioned earlier. The digital twinning, the being able to predict or at least know in real time what's going on in the facility and how efficiently things are running. How are you all teaching that? How are you all bringing those concepts to the students in a way that builds them up to where they can go to a global manufacturer and save millions of dollars?
What I think sets not just our program apart, but MSU Denver as a whole apart is a lot of our faculty do come from industry and bring that real world hands-on perspective to the classroom. We're not saying, oh, you need this textbook, go get this textbook. Yeah. You're going to read these 4 chapters. No, we have labs in our facility, our building, that they are working on those machinery. They are working on different projects for industry. A lot of entrepreneurs need help with manufacturing process. They have an idea. They don't know how to take it to production. So our students are able to actually work on those kinds of projects and be the consultants saying, oh, well, I recommend this. And of course, they have help from faculty, but it's that hands-on work that's really the differentiation between other programs.
There's still some limited knowledge about Industry 4.0, lean manufacturing, mm-hmm. some of the concepts you've talked about. Can you define digital twinning for us or at least help us get a little bit of understanding of that concept?
So it's really just essentially being able to create a real world machine in the digital world. And when you put your goggles on, that's what you're seeing. You're actually seeing the machine, and you can actually have a double view. So you have your virtual digital machine kind of overlaid the actual machine. And you can also take that digital twin and try to figure out what's wrong. Like if there's a problem with the actual machine, you can kind of recreate that in the digital world and try all these various ways to fix it without doing it on the actual machine and possibly making it worse. So there's some different kind of real world applications for the digital twins, but that really is an interesting concept, and it's really cool. We have in my lab, we have this little mini laser engraver. right now I stand at the machine and kind of help people through the step-by-step of how to do their laser printing.
Right.
But what we're going to do is kind of code those instructions into the AR system so they can stand at that laser engraver, see the instructions, and do it themselves without me standing there. And so I'm really excited about that project. So it's really whatever your mind can think of, and how to make that connection. Like, oh, we can, use it for this project or this problem. And it really is creative thinking.
The manufacturing industry certainly is always under a microscope, it seems like. What's it like to prepare students for that?
I wish we could have the investment in manufacturing needed to really get companies up to par using these technologies, because in the long run, it's going to make everything less expensive. I don't think you can really worry about or think about those negatives. You just got to go in and learn what you're going to learn and go into your company and maybe be an agent of change once you're there.
For the folks already in manufacturing who may be watching this, what can they do to get up to speed with some of these concepts that you've talked about, with some of the technology that could, as you said, make things cheaper to produce or more efficient in the long run? What can somebody already in manufacturing do based on what you've seen and what you're teaching students every day?
If you're interested in learning more about these types of technologies, it's up to you to seek them out. There's a ton of online sources to learn things and to guide you. Programs like, especially for lean thinking, Lean Six Sigma, things like that people can do on their own. There's a lot of certification programs. So that's what I would recommend.
Love it. Love it. Care to share anything that you see on the horizon that you and the faculty there or the students are thinking about working towards as it relates to technology and manufacturing that you're pointing at and you're like, oh, this is exciting?
I mean, it just seems like every day there's somebody's using technology in a new way. And I really think that individual creativity is going to be more and more of a factor in being able to problem solve and kind of be able to put together a technology with a problem to solve that problem, and being able to use some of these technologies in new ways that nobody has ever. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, it's just so open. And it really is kind of the only barrier is your own imagination. But you also have to know what is out there, right? You have to know what's available to be able to creatively use those technologies in new ways. And that's why, getting on some of these online companies that offer certificates, or maybe taking a class or two, to really kind of open your mind to what the possibilities could be.
I don't know how much the average person would really say and look at the manufacturing space and say, oh, within the everyday, there's an opportunity to be creative. How do you see that shifting? What needs to happen to be able to shift that more? Are more and more, in your experience, more students being open to the idea or the concept of going into manufacturing because that has shifted?
Yeah, definitely. And our students are super excited about being able to not only kind of design something, but just figure out a product, and being able to do that entire, from beginning to end. That's what they're super excited about. They're super excited about actually using the machine themselves. They're excited about 3D printing and CNC machining in new ways and new materials. Like, we just got a metal printer, and people like a metal printer, and they're so excited about a metal printer. There's so many new materials, like when you get into composites and things like that. Thinking of new ways to use those. It really is, again, using your imagination to create new ways and create new things.
Beautiful. Well, Shannon, if folks want to find out what's going on at MSU Denver and the Advanced Manufacturing Science Institute, where would they go to find more information about your work?
Yeah, you can go to msudenver.edu/advanced manufacturing, and there we are.
Beautiful. Love it. Thanks so much for taking the time today, Shannon. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael. You have a great day.